see the commitment that the Mervis family has. Today, surprisingly, they made a commitment to another youth sport, baseball, in our community. So we're very, very fortunate to have the Patulskis. We're very, very fortunate to have the Mervises. We're very, very fortunate to have the United States Hockey League. And I know this community is going to support it. I know that we're going to love it. And it now gives me a great opportunity, after thanking you for taking the time to learn what Muskegon is about and making a commitment to our community. And for you making a commitment to our community 18 months ago, and Tim for you longer than that, we appreciate that. I want to introduce one of our very own. Started out as a Muskegon chief, one of the premier programs for youth hockey, not only in the state of Michigan, but across the Midwest. He was a Mona Shore Sailor, one of the premier hockey teams in high school in Michigan. Played for the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders in the USHL. He was an MSU Spartan, which is dear to my heart, a Grand Rapids Griffin, and our own Detroit Red Wing, number 8, Justin Advocate.
Just presenting to Justin, he's already worn this once, so we're giving him the opportunity to wear it again on behalf of the USHL. Come on up, Tim. As the team of the Lumberjacks, great opportunity to just remember for just a few minutes where he came from, because we all know where he's going. Thanks a lot.
Definitely nice to be back here in Muskegon. See all the familiar faces. I'm glad my dad got to get to come out here. A lot of friends out here and some family, so that's good to see. But first I'd just like to thank the Patulskis and Tim and the Mervis family for inviting me to this historic event, because it's this is huge. My dad and I always talked about when I played in Cedar Rapids, how cool it'd be if someday Muskegon had a USHL team, because it's the league is just phenomenal, and the talent that you guys will see when you guys come to the games is second to none. And the players, you can watch them go through the ranks. College, a lot of them probably be in their own backyard here at Michigan State, Western, Ferris, all over the state. And to see the players come through the league, and then hopefully one day play pro hockey and play in the NHL. And it's a really neat opportunity. And for me, going to Cedar Rapids, it was definitely probably the hardest year of my life, leaving my friends and family. Going my senior year to Cedar Rapids, what I never heard of before, and in the middle of cornfields, and not really much. I pulled up there to the rink, and there's the rink, and besides that, that's about it. So it was pretty tough. It was a tough year, but you know what? It was definitely the most important year of my life and my hockey career. Growing up as an individual, and having a great housing family that I did in Cedar Rapids, who I still communicate with, my housing brothers and sisters, which I know I'm one of many, pretty much all players that still keep in touch with their housing family and still get back to see them. And I think that's something great that the league develops young men and young players, not only into good hockey players, but individuals off the ice too. And it's I think it's definitely going to be a transition from what everyone's used to, older professional hockey. But once everyone sees this product and what it brings, and sees all the kids that will be in the community giving back, and it's just exciting times for Muskegon. And you're going to see a lot of good players come through here and playing for Muskegon. And hopefully a lot of players never know who's going to be the next player out of Muskegon to play here for the Lumberjacks in the USHL. It's just really exciting, and I can't imagine if I was here growing up in Muskegon and had the opportunity to play here for the Lumberjacks, where I didn't have to go 6 hours, and my parents didn't have to drive every other weekend 6 hours to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And I think it's really exciting, and like I said, thank them for having me here today, and I'm gladly support the team, and it's good to see everyone here. Thank you.
We'd like to open up the floor for any questions. I don't think I'd be speaking out of school to say I think they'd be very similar to where they're currently at.
They're not going to go up, I'll guarantee you that.
They will not go up and guarantee you that. I just wanted to repeat that over the loudspeaker.
Thanks. We actually has probably, I've got back in my office 25 cities from the East Coast to the West Coast that would like to be part of the USHL. We think that as a 16 or 18 team league, this fits right. So while discussions are always underway, we don't have active plans to add 2 teams next year at this point. If it had not been for late developments, we could have been a 15-team league next year with 3 5-team divisions. With the 16th team, it's a little easier to split a number of different ways, but we're comfortable with where we are. It's not just a question of the cities. With 2 new teams next year, we start off with rosters before they get cut. If we have to find 60 players as good as Justin Applicator was when he was at that quality, and you know what, they're not hard. They're as hard to find now as they were then. So we work from the players first, and when we can find that bulk, we're working hard to get there for this coming year. But our expansion will grow as the quality of the hockey grows.
Why did we look? It was longer than 4 years. It was 6 years, almost. Why it took 6 years was, that's the best way to put this. We ran a charity in our hometown, in Danville, in our previous team. Sustainability is the key factor. And we wanted to look for a market that knew hockey, that would be the right size town to house one of these teams, also in the sense of taking care of the young men who came to play for you. Because remember, when they're dropped off, their parents are abrogating their parental responsibility onto the team. And we accept that responsibility. We wanted to go to a place where hockey mattered. And where we've looked, and it's public record, when we've gone and looked, we were never able to get comfortable between a combination of appropriate venue and hockey market and then size of the market. I mean, we've really turned over a number of stones looking for Muskegon. And it's not easy. I mean, we could have gone to a lot of places and were offered a number of incentives, but it just was, the fit wasn't right. Maybe we didn't believe in that marketplace, or it didn't have the intangibles we needed, or the tangibles, the arena we needed. Muskegon has all of those plus, and that's why we're really excited about Muskegon.
USHL was definitely the way to go for me. You know, it's the best league you can play in to prepare you for the college level, and I thought it definitely did that for me. Like when I jumped from USHL, which, you know, I was supposed to play there 2 years, I ended up playing 1, and went right into Michigan State. Like the first game, I felt like, you know, the transition was easy. You know, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't hard. Like I felt like I fit in right away. And coming from playing at high school at Mona Shores to the USHL was probably the biggest jump, I would say, in my career. Because USHL, I was playing against some of the best players, you know, around the United States, Canada, you know, even around the world. And, you know, that was a big jump, and it took me about a month to get acclimated to everything and to my move. And, you know, it's the best opportunity, you know, for yourself if you want to play at the college level and, you know, hopefully beyond too. And, you know, it was one of those things where, you know, I was at the Select Festival, and Michigan State saw me and were recruiting me, and you know, they said, you know, if you're going to play in the USHL, you know, we'd definitely like to offer you a scholarship. And it was one of those things where the league is that highly regarded among college teams, and it was a great opportunity and kind of no-brainer for me to play in the league.